Just like that, we're back once again. Hello everybody, my name is James and this is LaunchPad number 4. We are here representing PocketGamer.com on the Twitch channels, on the YouTube channels, on every channel that will stream all of this business. What do? We do mobile games, mobile gaming news, reviews, previews, interviews, anything that involves a view. We're pretty much all over that stuff and have been since the very inception of mobile gaming. That's why we've been running a site about it for 10, 15 years. It's probably too long. We should pack it in. I'm going to be here for the next 2 hours and also 2 hours tomorrow as well, doing our, now I guess every 3 months or so, showcase of brand new updates, reviews, gameplay. Basically, we get in touch with a whole bunch of people and they get in touch with us and say, we've got all this secret stuff we want to announce. Would you like to show it on your channel exclusively before anyone else gets it? And we say, yeah, go on then. So that's what we're going to be doing today. But I'm not doing it alone. As always, I'm going to be bringing a guest on this journey with me. And today it's Mr. PocketGamer.com himself. He will be emerging from a cloud of smoke because I found the smoke button in OBS and I'm going to be using it with reckless abandon. So let's all welcome the wonder that is Dan Sullivan. Look at that! Unbelievably slick.
Yeah.
I can't.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm going to be doing that constantly. any excuse, a punctuation at the end of sentences doesn't matter. So hello, how are you? You all right?
Yeah, doing good.
Good stuff. We notice he's coming from a slightly different location this time. If you watch previous streams, you've moved since, and I like the fact that it's allowed you to put all of your games front and center. There's a lot going on in the background.
These are some of them. Yeah, there's quite a big selection, to be honest with you. But yeah, this is a small part of them.
Well, no need to brag. I look quite utilitarian compared to you. It's all just a kind of white space in the background. But it's all hiding around the corner. See that staircase? That's where I put all the junk that you guys don't need to see whenever we go live on streams. So, speaking of streams, what are we here for? We're going to be covering a whole bunch of new stuff from mobile gaming developers. Big things from huge AAA type publishers. We're going to be doing little small indie stuff as well, as we always do. And as always, you've got sponsors who've been helping us bring this to you. So the likes of, you've got your Mystery Match Village, you got Gordon Ramsay's Chef Blast, your Daisy's Revenge, all of whom you'll be hearing from today and or tomorrow in some form or another. We're going to be playing some games, which is the fun bit for me. And the fun bit for you, because you get to watch me fail at them. And Dan is going to be sharing his wisdom because he's the one who gathers all of this information, all the news. I'm just his puppet.
I am the key master.
That's right.
Yes.
You can't see the hand that just goes up under the barrier here and works me to make sure that I'm saying the right things at the right time. But it's going to be fun. We encourage you, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, because we know there's a bunch of you out there. If you want to get involved, if you want to throw us questions, I can see a small amount of chat in this window, and I'm keen to get stuck into it. We're going to have folks from Pocket Gamer itself coming in and talking to you throughout as well. We're going to be trying to throw links, things like App Store links and Google Play Store links to games that we talk about, plus links to the articles on PocketGamer.com, which is where all this stuff comes from, really. How is it over there at PG Towers, Dan? Because
busy. very blue as well. Always blue. Not blue in mood, just blue in design. Yeah,
that's right. We have a theme. We're very on brand over here.
Yeah.
But yes, if you haven't already become a PocketGamer.com news consumer / subscriber, now is the time. We are once again. Well, we are still putting out the best new stuff in the business. I'm going to say that because I don't write it. You can't say that because it would be braggadocious if you said it, Dan. I'm allowed to. So we highly recommend you get over there and make sure it's bookmarked, along with the YouTube channel, which I have stuff to do with, which we're doing a lot of things to do with conferences at the minute. You might have heard of a thing called Pocket Gamer Connect, where we've been doing this for a number of years now, and it's another one coming up. It's coming, number 7. It's going to be great. It's coming up soon.
They don't stop.
Never stops. Get some tickets. We recently did Beyond Games, which is a whole transmedia conference. We do a lot of stuff, basically. And some of it's quite businessy, but not this. This is all about the games and showing you the good stuff. And I think enough talk. Should we kick things off?
We should.
We should. All right, then.
Let's go.
Let's go. Forsaken Worlds. Forsaken World, Gods and Demons there. You were just introduced to Sheila. Did you think she was going to be called Sheila, Dan?
It's a classic name, isn't it? It just doesn't quite fit the image that we have over here in England of Sheilas, you know.
She looks a bit like floaty and all powerful for a Sheila, but
Yeah.
fair play to her. She's making it work. She's a powerful lady. Gods and Demons is the offshoot of this one. This is Forsaken World, so it's now celebrating its half-year anniversary with a whole bunch of major updates and whatnot. So that thing you just saw was the introduction to the goddess of Kalendor. That was Sheila. There's a whole bunch of interesting backstory stuff about this, which you can read probably on pocketgamer.com. But the thing that my eye was immediately drawn to, Dan, pet raids.
Pet raids.
There's going to be pets.
Of all of the things to just come from MMOs or RPGs, I think just adding pets into the, completely blindsided the whole thing. But
it's what happens whenever there's any kind of online stuff. Whenever there's a Zoom call and someone's dog walks in, and that becomes the focus of the meeting from that point onwards. They've done the same thing with MMOs.
The RPG genre. Stick completely.
A pet in, get familiar going, and that's what they're doing. So Pet Raids is going to be appearing, and they're going to be launching new pets, strategies and customizations of positions and stuff to go with them. So I guess, stick them on your shoulder, stick them on the end of your spear. I don't know what you do with a cat in an MMO. And it'll be available to players who are above level 150.
Wow.
So I guess you're going to have to do a little bit of grinding maybe to get there. You can't just get it from the word go. But pets aren't the only thing. So we're talking mentorship as well, which is a new endgame system that's going to allow players to choose a tutor. They then begin a kind of relationship with the tutor and then teach them things through a series of daily tasks and whatnot. What success have you had in the MMO world? I know I've talked before about my very brief, and I mean week-long dalliance with WoW. But beyond that, what got it? Did any of them get their claws sunk into you, Dan? Were you yourself putting pets on your shoulder and going off and raiding?
I'm going to show my age here and say the Matrix Online.
Really?
Yeah, that was class. Yeah, I don't know whether I just got in at the right point in time, but we ended up forming quite an important. I think there were crews. Basically, what happened is you formed I guess a clan. Apart from it was made up of small crews. The idea being that not that you ever saw it in the game, but you were crews on ships who were then part of the greater collections, like a fleet. I can't remember what the term was. This was so long ago. And then you were within a faction, and we sided with the machines. You could side with the machines, the Merovingians, or
you traitorous
the main
dog.
characters.
You were part of the machine crew, using humans for batteries.
Much more fun.
Unbelievable. I didn't even know that there was a Matrix MMO. I mean, most of the kind of big franchises, obviously you got your Star Warses and your Lord of the Rings and everything, and they've all had a stab at the MMO world. But that had completely
this was
gone on my
even
radar.
before that. Even before that.
Wow.
Wow, this must have been maybe 2004. It might have been before, but it was really interesting. And because you're in a simulated game world, you're playing, the crafting system is really easy to explain. You go around and find bits and bytes and then combine them together, and you've got a super cool red leather jacket, which was totally my aesthetic at the time. So of course I was playing that game.
You would go in the full Jada Pinkett Smith there, were you?
There we go.
Excellent, good work. Okay, were there any pets? Importantly, could you do pet raiding down there?
They were not
in Zion?
pets. I don't think pets had made their way into MMOs at the time. It would have been amazing if there was. When they relaunch Matrix Online, which they will inevitably hopefully do, I will be there with my pets.
Well, they brought back old school RuneScape, didn't they?
They did indeed.
That's something that's going to pop up in a list at some point. I think it's tomorrow we're going to be doing it. But yeah, seeing that come back, 2001, the original version of that came out.
Yeah, wild.
And that's insane. And that's currently running on mobile, and it's serving a very specific audience and making them very happy, which is kind of delightful. But this one, if you are interested in going to have a look at Forsaken World, Gods and Demons, then I guess now is the time, especially take advantage. Get yourself a nice little Cocker Spaniel, or I'm sure they have fancier fantasy pets in the game they must have as part of the updates. And then go and seek out a mentor and get them to teach your pet tricks as well as you. And you're going to have a grand old time, I imagine.
That's it, just hanging around level 150 with your sausage dog going off fighting demons. It's going to be great.
Do it. Also, you get unbound soul crystals, new weapons, gear, and more. Got to mention the hardware as well as the software. I say software. You know, if I had to get a little pet familiar, right? First of all, I would get a fox because they are highly entertaining and fun things. But the best descriptor I ever heard of foxes is that they are dog hardware running cat software.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And that's very much how I'm not a huge dog fan, but like cats are fantastic, and there is something about the way that they don't seem to care and have a slight nonchalance about them.
They have zero attachment. They just use everything, you know.
I think you're being a bit harsh about cats there, but no, my fox. I'm going to send my fox into battle. He would kick ass, and yes, granted, if I was killed in battle, he would probably eat me. But I call that resourcefulness. Come on. All right, then. So yeah, go check out the game if you're interested, and peep the new pet in the update right now. Let's move on to something else. Let's go from fantasy to sci-fi. Here we go. Bit of robot fighting for you there. Metal Revolution. I'm going to throw up an image for you. Look at that. He's giving him a swift flame kick to the, I guess, I don't know what, a robot chin. I don't know much about robot anatomy, Dan. I'm going to
robot
assume
chops.
That's a chin. Robot chops, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, chops. There we go.
So this is something new. We are going to be talking about a closed beta test that is going to be starting in about a week or so that you could potentially get involved in for this one. New fighting game. The idea here is it's bringing what it describes as the soul of the classics to a new era, which is, I guess, sort of
robots.
Yeah,
it's a new era. Yeah,
I suppose so. That's what they mean. But
there's robots. There's robots in some of them, but like this definitely looks like mostly robots.
My concern was when they say like, you know, classic stuff about robots, my mind immediately goes to Rise of the Robots, and we don't need to resurrect that. That was not good at the time, and it's not good now either. So this, I'm sure, will be considerably better than that, because it will be hard not to. But for some bullet points for you here, what it's going to be trying to do is aiming for console quality graphics. We're talking 60 frames a second. You're going to be picking a whole bunch of different cybernetic fighters. You're going to be doing like anything from Mutai boxers to what they describe as katana swinging Yakuza bosses. That sounds like quite good fun. And they've also done a bit of IRL motion capture. In fact, they sent us a little video. I think I can get this running alongside us. Here we go. So you're going to see some folks doing some actual mocap business. Yeah, see that Katana Boy. That's very, very cool indeed.
It is, wow.
Now,
it looks photorealistic, doesn't it?
It does look pretty sturdy.
Bits now, with the bloke there on the left, yeah.
He's my favourite character. Like, bloke in funny dotted suit in slightly washed out
fighting
colours.
Shadows, yep.
Yeah, legend. So the thing about like these games, especially on mobile, is, and we always come back to it on the streams, you always come back to it on mobile in general, is it can be tricky to get the controls right. Yeah. And you can't just, or you shouldn't just throw a whole bunch of touchscreen controls on there, because it becomes a horrible, awful mess. So then the situation becomes like, do you turn everything into a gesture control? Do you turn it to a swipe? Do you allow automatic attacks while you just sit back and watch? Like
Each control, voice control, punch,
kick, Daniel,
back. That'd be great on the bus.
Yeah, that'll go down a storm. Funnily enough, I've been playing the Mass Effect Legendary Edition because it's great and I love Mass Effect. But it did prompt me to look at the old boxes, and at least one of the Mass Effects, I think Mass Effect 3.
Mass Effect 2, I think it was.
Had the voice
it
control.
had the voice control, where you could tell your team to move up, and they very quickly forgot about that,
Yeah, it's like with Connect, I'm like, oh yeah, Connect,
yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, no, maybe don't do the voice stuff on this. But if you want to get involved and actually try this thing out yourselves, so from May 7th, I should say, if you go through Google Early Access beta testing thing, you should be able to at least have a chance of getting on a list at giving this one a go. It should be available for all regions except for, there's a few I have to exempt here, which is apparently China, Japan, South Korea, and Vietnam won't be getting it in the first run, but maybe later. It's obviously going to be a free-to-play closed beta thing. Data gets deleted afterwards. It won't be something you'll be sharing. But if you want to get it on the ground floor and give it a go, maybe just go over to the game's Facebook page. But we've probably got something on Pocket Gamer that will link you straight up. That's probably right, isn't it, Dan?
Maybe we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how people respond to the Metal Revolution.
I'm always really interested in more fighting games. It was Shadow Fight Arena that we talked about on a previous LaunchPad. I think it was 2 LaunchPads back.
It was.
And that was fantastic. I think they really got the button controls, the touchscreen controls down, because there were I think there were 3 inputs. There was like a grab button, a heavy attack, and a light attack. And that was all you needed. And the combos were really smooth. And I think that kind of input really lends itself to the kind of slower, heavier fighting games like Tekken or like Mortal Kombat. Yeah, definitely not kind of like your Dead or Alives.
No, where it's all like incredibly fast, like
incredibly quick.
It's difficult because sometimes I refer to them like as deliberate fighters, if you know what I mean. Some stuff is based around like you can get away with a bit of button mashing, and it's all about this very, very fast flow. There's a flurry of that goes on. Whereas some fighters, you do feel like it is a slower, more deliberate, or everything has a much bigger wind up on it. But it means it feels more precise somehow sometimes. I feel like Tekken, the original Tekken, to some people when you first started playing that, felt like clunky, felt slow, and big wind ups and stuff. But it's actually, like I say, it's very deliberate. You're really choosing what you do. Yeah. And when you compare it to some kind of fighters where they are based around like bigger, slower wind ups, it can be a bit of a mental adjustment. And you think this game is non-responsive. You're like, no, it's responding in its own sweet time.
And it's just got this slower, like more frames between each move. Yeah. But they lend themselves well to these big sweeping combos where you're massively changing whether you're doing high or low attacks.
Absolutely. And I'm quite a fan. This one looks quite pacey, and I didn't see on the trailer. That was the one thing I wanted to know. Like, what are the controls? I didn't see any inputs superimposed, and I was like, what does this mean? Does this mean you're going to be? Is it all voice control? Like Dan suggests?
It's voice control. Yeah.
Or is it going to be something a little bit more chill? Is it going to be a swipe gesture based business? Like, because there's been a raft of them like over the past few years where those battlers are almost like card based, where you're tapping card moves, where it feels like a lot of the fighting's being done for you, and it's just you're choosing the next attack from a little selection at the bottom, which does lend itself to flow, but it's obviously less interactive. And with mobile, it's in some cases kind of the right choice, because, and I'll always refer to it, at that time they did a Street Fighter 4 port, and it was just like they'd taken the game, made the graphics awful, and then thrown every button, like they invented new buttons that weren't even on the original controllers, and they were just plastering it, and it was a mess. And you're like, Street Fighter's great, and I know you want to stay true and faithful to it, but that's not the way to do it.
There's a risk, and if you slow that pace down because of inputs or for whatever reason, you're swapping out the adrenaline for tension instead, especially if you're going almost turn-based with these touching and
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to see what happens, and if you want to be in the first wave, if you want to tell them that they should definitely do voice commands and that should be the entire input system, get involved in the closed beta test. We will be able to link you out to it from Pocket Gaming. You can also just go straight to their Facebook page if you want to. Metal Revolution is the name. Go and have a look if you are interested. I'm going to drop that for now. Now, we're going to get to something that's genuinely very exciting for me. I'm a huge fan of this series, and they're doing something new and different with it. I'll explain the history of the franchise and even the RTS spin-off they did with a different thing. I really do genuinely like these games. So, I'll let the trailer speak for itself. Here we go.
War. Destruction. As the kingdom falls into chaos, a new threat arises. The world needs heroes. The world needs legends.
Yes, mate. Kingdom Rush, Legends, Kingdom Rush, gang. Come on. Right, so Dan, I enjoy the work of the Kingdom Rush folks. It is a good tower defense game. Do you tower defend?
I've dabbled with tower defense games. My background is in indie games, and the
Nice.
tower defense genre hit really hard there. And there were loads of great developers and publishers that evolved from the big sudden rush to tower defense that we saw with RTS in the 90s. I haven't played any of the Kingdom Rush games, mate.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's all the
just
time we
spin
have
around
for
on my
Dan
chair.
Sullivan today.
Yeah.
Where's the turning the webcam off? Right. Okay. So Kingdom Rush is a very, very good and nice game series. They kind of nailed that tower defense thing out the gate. Really nice cartoon visuals. There were lots of little kind of small niche references to pop culture, but in a really low key sort of way. But mostly it was just a really good implementation of the tower defense business. Now they've done about 3 games in the series, and they also branched off at one point and did a game called Iron Marines, which used a similar art style, but it was
Played
sci-fi.
that.
You did play that.
I've
Right.
played that one. Yep.
Well then you can stay on the stream for a bit longer.
Great.
And that playing of that game probably makes you more equipped to talk about this. Let me throw this up right here. So we've got exclusive footage of Legends of Kingdom Rush. This is going to be an RTS style game. This is their first deviation from the main series of it being tower defense. Now, what you're looking at here is the narrative events and recruits bit. So what we're looking at is each of these nodes you're seeing, different events of some kind will be playing out in the game. So you've got combat encounters, you've got dice challenges, you've got dialogue events, recruitment events, stores, and mysteries. What we're interested in, of course, is the combat. So this is Kingdom Rush, but if it were Iron Marines or Command and Conquer or something like that. And I've only watched this once because I was like, I'll save it and watch with you guys because it's really cool. So hex-based RTS. Did you enjoy Iron Marines, by the way?
I did. Iron Marines was good. I wish I'd given it more time, but there are a lot of hex-based games.
There are.
It is the genre I really enjoyed, turn-based strategy games and games with that turn-based element. So.
Yeah, it's tricky because on the one hand, when a franchise does something incredibly well, obviously you're keen for them to produce more of it. But at the same time, I like seeing it when people bugger off and do something new. And that seems to be what's going on here. And I'm like, they've done 3 installments already. We've kind of got our fill of the tower defense, and I think they've earned the right to do something else. And I feel like Iron Marines was like a great testing ground. They proved that they could do this. Iron Marines, interestingly, wasn't hex-based. It was much more freeform. You could just move around anywhere like with Kingdom Rush. This appears to be taking the hex-based, much more formal positioning system that they use in those kind of games. And of all the games we're showing, I really would quite like to play this. This looks like it's quite good. Apparently, the legend we've got playing here, by the way, there are a bunch of different, the way that the teams are arranged, or the armies are arranged, you get 1 legend and 2 companions. And the legends will be familiar if you've played some of the games. So we've got Gerald over there, or Geralt, as I guess everyone calls Gerald. And he's leading his companion folks through the battling. And it follows the same systems that you'd get like if you've ever played XCOM. So it is use your turn to move, and then you can commit either a fighting action, or you can like move half distance and get more actions. And like, I think we're all familiar with that kind of stuff at this point. So it seems to be doing that, but it's drawing from a lot of the characters and the powers from within the Kingdom Rush series, which is nice because that series already drew from lots of other places.
Yeah.
There'd be little fantasy, silly Lord of the Rings references. There'd be lots of little sci-fi references and all manner of stuff. And it was a grand old time. Beyond the fighting, what we're going to see in a moment is a dice event challenge, which is where a party gets interrupted by an emergent event. So this can just randomly happen at some points. And then you can either deal with it via a dice roll, or sometimes if you've got like an item, it will allow you to kind of swoosh straight past it. So I think here-ish, we're moving around the world map to a different mission. The Astral Cultist, oh, legend. Here you go, here's the dice event. So they roll, and then it determines what happens next. Use the Elixir of Life, power matey up, bit of energy potion business, and then we'll be diving straight back into the combat.
So this is almost like the kind of run-based games with the whole map movement and everything.
Yeah,
we're looking at kind of like you're kind of like FTL and your Slay the Spire, where you're working your way through a map. There are events that pop up, interrupt. There are ways to resolve it, either based on what you've done previously or decisions you've previously made, or just blind luck.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's for this, I think it can work well. I don't think roguelike is the solution for everything, but the idea of randomly generated areas on which you can do RTS battles, that's quite fun. Roguelikes are often employed for things like top-down, not twin stick shooters, but top-down fantasy hack and slash games, or side scrollers, or something like that. I've not seen too many like roguelike RTS games, so that's an interesting wrinkle.
One you should play, Crying Sons. They don't pay me. They don't pay me to mention it, but I try to mention it every time I go on a stream.
You do.
Yeah, I do. You should play it. Yeah.
I've definitely edited video with it in. I don't think I've ever actually played the thing, but yeah, no, you're quite right. I'm sure it is good stuff, and it's nice to see variations on the classic like roguelike theme, because I think I've said before that sometimes it feels like we're hitting saturation point with the whole roguelike thing.
Yeah. I mean, we've moved away from we now don't have that big flood of like dungeon crawling roguelike anymore, and kind of run-based games like kind of FTL and other things like Death Road to Canada, probably one of my favorite. Yep. They're so far away from roguelike, even though you can trace that run-based, subgenre to it. They're so far away from it now that we're just waiting for another term, I suppose.
Yeah, and I mean, Returnal is the most recent thing that I guess has been made a big splash in the world of in the world of roguelikes, because I haven't played it yet on a PS5 because you can get one, can you? But yeah, that's been a new one where people have found it incredibly hard and unforgiving and all the rest of it, and I think they've been put off by maybe not being familiar with the roguelike genre. And understanding, like, well, I have to go back to the beginning again. And you're like, yes, but
there is a difference between unnecessarily tough, the ones where you actually progress outside of like Hades, for instance, where you've got that persistence and progression, and games that are just bloody hard for the sake of it. That like old arcade games, you were never meant to win an arcade game.
No.
So, but nowadays, I guess so many big budget games, even if they're built like arcade games, where you're not anticipated to get all the way through in that first run, you feel like you should be able to, and it's hard. It's
People
hard when you
don't like
can't.
getting defeated, and I get it, but at the same time, punish me. I've been very bad. So,
wow.
Look,
that's a clip to be saved.
Mate, the next game that we're going to be showing here, like in terms of weirdness factor, like I'll let this do all the weirdness for me. We're going to be playing this trailer twice, because the first time we need to just watch it, and the second time you need to explain to me what on earth is going on. All right, here we go. Let's everybody brace ourselves.
Yes.
What can I do in my school simulator?
Let's explore the big world.
after school life, never funnier.
Home. Sweet home.
Shake your style to get some vibes first. Come on, turn your radio on.
Right. So, Dan campaigned hard for this trailer, and now he's going to answer for it. So, now it's called My School Simulator. We're going to run it in the background, as Brad DeVille says in the chat. Hello, Danielle. Very good to have you here. Lots to unpack there, and I'm with Danielle on this one. So, I went to a school.
Yes.
I don't remember any of that. What's the teacups and that? Look, all right, we'll just play, and I can describe what I'm seeing, and you can help me out here.
Every time I watch this, I see something new. I just realised that the main guy, that the character in this is called Clark Kent as well.
I saw that as well.
Yeah, which I guess ties well to the jetpack flying around the town.
So that's all. Clark doesn't need a jetpack, but yeah. So first of all, it starts with the jetpack. Again, all I got was like some dog-eared textbooks. We're already in a theme park. I had a crap field, Dan. I had a field with a tree in it. One tree. That's all we were allowed in our British school. There's
swimming in the swimming pool, fully clothed. Of course.
Obviously,
yep.
robots. Now we're down the beach, and we're setting up our chairs for the juice bar that we run.
Yep.
From school. This looks a bit more. So we've got a little dorm room or something like that. I can get on board with that. And all this customization of your character, and like this seems much more standard like life sim business, despite the weird sized ears. But like I don't get what most of this has to do with school.
Yeah. It's great. This is so good. Like, I don't think that games have successfully managed to capture school, you know, like the nearest we've got other than this is probably Bully from Rockstar Games, which was also about not really going to school other than the mini games. So, you know, I'm all for this. I think this could be a really good experience, even if it's just a bit weird. I just can't stop watching the trailer.
I'm gonna explode to a two-shot for a minute.
Boom,
there we go. Because I think we all need to look at Dan a little closer for this segment.
I just think there's historically been so many things, like the time that we spend in MMOs, or even instances where there were things like Habbo Hotel and other stuff like that, where there were just these experiences online, these spaces that you could coexist inside, and very much what Roblox is doing these days. And while this is definitely being angled as a game, I didn't see any real progression in it other than fighting giant robots completely out of the blue.
It seems to be more about the customization.
And so I think, and the juice. And if you can just create these spaces, and presumably you unlock new things to create new spaces, and then you go to places and do things, and I don't know, it just seems pretty exceptional to me.
Well, we've got Jupiter in the chat, and she's suggesting it's part of advanced learning. Again,
start business.
I skipped that class, I guess. I didn't sign up for that one. This is interesting. A rhythm game for dance sessions, Dive is suggesting, perhaps, and also talking about Bully being a great shout. I do remember that's like the other Rockstar game, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. It was called Canis Canum Edit
Yes.
when it launched, and they had problems with banning it because it's kids beating up kids or some stuff.
Yeah, RPG like rocket launchers within.
But it wasn't
GTA 5. Fine.
It wasn't a Rockstar game unless it was getting banned anyway. That's how they entirely came about and got famous. They deliberately went to a newspaper and showed off the stuff you could do in Grand Theft Auto 1, and all of a sudden everyone knew the name of it.
That
That's
was
how
the
you do
business
it.
model. By the way,
That's
this
how
is
you
on
do
brand.
it. Yeah.
This is on brand because you can play Grand Theft Auto 4. No, you can play Vice City and GTA 3 on mobile. I don't think 4 ever came over, technically.
I don't think 4 ever came over, no.
No, but so I was able to pull some information about this game, right? So
Impossible.
They've managed to sum up. So, My School Simulator. Apparently, it's a role-playing school simulator game that supports multiplayer mode. Takes place on a fictional anime-style campus. All right, fine, we're okay so far. Offers a variety of outfits, decorations, and scenes to simulate a real-life social experience.
Yeah.
Does it though?
I think this is great. When we were told by Netties, you can have an exclusive, we've pulled it from our big announcement show, I thought, wow, what is this going to be? And when that first half a second came up and it said My School Simulator, and, right there, it was just an anime background. I thought, oh, this is just great. No, but this is so joyful, James. This is the best thing from their entire show. And they had Frostpunk Mobile there. This is better than that.
I will give you that. There is a lot to be said for the extreme quirk and the pure joy stuff. We're actually covering something turned up in a list to that Say No More, which is another thing that covers some serious issues, but it's also completely nuts, but in a way that's really entertaining and like kind of joyful. And there is a lot to be said for that kind of stuff. I guess I've been playing some quite serious things between like Mass Effect and Resi 8, and everything's been a bit. I say serious. Resident Evil's never been serious. Resident Evil's daft.
Yeah, Resident Evil's just B-movie pulp. Although they tried to make it serious with Resident Evil 4. That's when I stopped playing them properly.
But no, there's a lot to be said for things being a bit quirky and a bit weird. And opening a juice bar on the beach during school hours.
This is just so reminiscent of when kind of, I guess, wacky Japanese games started to come over on like the PlayStation 1 era, when you had things like Bishi Bashi Special, and you had the Point Blank games, and you had Incredible Crisis. And there was just this chaos in there because video games never needed to make sense. They never needed to be about having a 30-hour bond develop with your dog that you then need to sacrifice at the end to fight the giant demon that is symbolic of capitalism.
He's a very good boy.
And
I will do it, Dan.
It doesn't have to be like that. It can literally be about shaking a can to make it fly to the moon, So, I'm all for this.
I got to say, you're winning me over. The enthusiasm is infectious. Other stuff that you can do, apparently there's a social matching system based on hobbies and topics, which you can get involved with. Allows you to find other players within the game and find friends with the same interests, the same entrepreneurial streak where you open up and sell orange juice on a beach. And apparently offers, I love the use of the word vivid, a vivid campus experience.
There's nothing vivid about this. This is 100% realistic, James.
Sorry, yeah, you're quite right. Where's most of my manners? You can sign up for different courses, take part in a variety of extracurricular activities, which I think we've covered, interact with schoolmates, explore many secrets of the campus. Now, they do say the game puts together a vibrant, that will go vivid and vibrant, and realistic city. You may have just lost me on that.
It's got buildings in it. It's got roads in it. You fly around it in a jetpack. These are all completely realistic facts.
The bar is low. The bar is lying to you, Dan. That is insane. There's been a beta test that's been going on, and people have been playing this for real life since the end of April. I think. I don't know. I think it's still going on. I get the feeling. I haven't seen anyone saying it's ended, and you can't see my hands, but I'm signing up on my phone as we speak.
All of them, yeah.
I must see the inside of this madness. I must know. But I'm pleased you brought it to me. Keep all future things like this to yourself, you maniac. No, don't. Share with everybody. Everyone, this is going to be everyone's favorite game from the stream. I can already tell. But if you want to find out more information, My School Simulator is the name. The beta test may still be open. It will be coming to mobile devices for everybody, in fact, to play in the not too distant future. And now we've opened this particular can of worms. There's no putting the tin lid back on. So we'll have to dedicate entire pages.
Yeah, definitely. So Yeah,
take
everything
over.
mentioned in the stream today will be mentioned on the site in some shape or form, but I do think there's a special place for this. Right at the top of every page. Yeah.
With a rocket back on its back.
Yes.
So, My School Simulator, go and check it out. Now, if you're joining us for the very first time here, then hi, if you happen to be watching us on Twitch or in a little pop-up window somewhere. We are Pocket Gamer, and this is LaunchPad number 4, the 4th of our online exclusive mobile gaming announcement thingy. I'm calling it a thingy, where we talk about new games, new updates, new releases, and a whole bunch of exclusive stuff that is literally being covered nowhere else. Dan's been talking to all the people in the know, gathering all the data together, and then we get to show it to you today. We'll be running until 7 p.m. UK time today. We'll also be doing another show at 5 p.m. UK time tomorrow, where we'll bring you even more stuff. And as you can see above me, we are joined by lovely sponsor-us type people who help us actually do this and make a sort of quasi job out of it. So, Mystery Match Village, Daisy's Revenge, and that one in the middle, Gordon Ramsay's Chef Blast.
Rammers.
The Rammers himself.
I can't believe I'm right here with Rammers.
You're right below him. Careful,
Oh.
he's gonna batter you and call you a
Yeah.
donut or something. That's what he does. So we didn't talk to Rammers because obviously the terror, but because we were talking to them in advance, we thought it'd be nice to do a little bit of a chat with them, a bit of an interview, get them to explain all about the game and that business. So I was able to have a word earlier in the week with Keely from Outplay, and she is gonna tell us all about the game, what it's all about, and specifically about chilies and how you really shouldn't probably put them on your hands and then rub your eyes. Don't do that. We'll be back in a bit.
Now the trick to softly boiling an egg is place the eggs in the spoon, gently lower them into the water. Okay, turn down the gas so it's simmering, cook for 4.5 minutes, and then find something fun to do. And that's how you make a hard-boiled egg.
We are delighted to be joined by Keely Bunting, the executive producer on Gordon Ramsay Chef Blast. Hello, Keely.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about Gordon Ramsay Chef Blast. What's it all about?
So Gordon Ramsay's Chef Blast is a chef-themed match 3 puzzle game.
How have you incorporated themes of cooking into a match 3 puzzler?
We definitely wanted to have a game where, we were focusing on delicious, fresh ingredients and things of that nature. So right inside of the levels, we have blocks and mechanics that are based on food items and kitchen equipment and things you'd expect to see a chef using. In the home screen, you of course have this lovely kitchen where Gordon Ramsay will greet you.
Hello, I'm Gordon Ramsay. Welcome to my kitchen.
And we also have recipes that you can unlock by winning recipe challenges and daily events.
How do you make an impact in what is by now quite a crowded genre? Match 3s are sort of 10 a penny. So how have you managed to make this one sort of stick its head above the pulpit?
Well, I guess first of all, there's the fact that we make sure that the gameplay is really fun and that the graphics are really attractive, which are both things that Outplay games always do. But then it's also very nice to have Gordon partner with us in this game. And the fact that, he's come in and he's done voiceover with us, and he's also provided exclusive recipes that can only be found in our game. So there's a nice kind of real world connection. You can actually take these recipes into your kitchen and make them.
You said you got Gordon Ramsay in, and obviously he's part of the game and recorded voice lines. How much of that had to be edited to make it family friendly?
So we didn't edit anything, but of course the game is 12 plus. So there were certain bits that we did censor. We have a little bar that comes up when there's little things here and there, but we wanted to make sure that it felt authentic.
Are all the recipes his, or did some of the design team manage to sneak there? Well, I do a really good cheese on toast. I'll put that in there somewhere.
So all of the recipes are his. You would not want my recipes. I can make a very mean steak, but outside of that, I'm probably not the best cook or chef. So yeah, we definitely stuck with what Gordon was recommending.
Nice.
When you guys were looking into making a game and pairing with Gordon on it, what did you consider in terms of other genres? Was it always going to be a match 3, or did you guys go, hey, we could do an FPS where he's, throwing knives at broccoli? I don't know. I'm just blue sky thinking here.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So interestingly, we actually did settle on the match 3 concept quite early on. We wanted something that would be fun and accessible, and Gordon being a very popular person, we thought that would line up nicely to just be able to include as many people as possible.
Now, there are some powers. I've been playing through the game, and some of it's quite abstract. So there are rockets that can fire through lines and get rid of entire rows and columns, which I don't remember being a major part of my last cooking experience. But there is also stuff. There is also stuff with hot chili, which sets everything on fire, which did ring very true to me.
Yes.
Was any of that drawn from real life experience or kitchen catastrophes?
So when we were trying to figure out what the item would be that could sort of grab everything of the same color on the board, we were looking once again for fresh ingredients or kitchen equipment that would be attractive. And we also wanted something that made sense, that it could, have that impact and that bang. And so, a hot chili just seemed to make sense. It's got lots of colors, it's lots of fun. And, if you're not careful with it, it can be dangerous.
Yeah, in the wrong hands, or all over the wrong hands. You mentioned a Teams feature in the game. Now, from my playing of it so far, it's been basically mostly single player. What's the Teams aspect? How's that work?
So recently we introduced a Teams feature into the game. So now you can club together with other chefs, and you can have an area where you can go in and chat with each other, maybe even discuss the recipes you're working on. You can also share lives, and there are leaderboards where, depending on how far you are in your levels, you can actually try and beat out other teams there. We also have other features that are coming in the future. So we're planning on introducing some events, like a collaborative team event, and things of that nature are on the way. So we'll be making more use of it as we go.
So is that going to be lots of players trying to achieve the same goal? Is that the idea? Is it going to be like a weekly or a monthly thing? Are they going to be timed events coming in and out, or?
This one in particular is probably going to be a week-long event where if you and your teammates collect enough stars, you'll be able to unlock rewards that your entire team will be able to enjoy. We have exclusive recipes from Gordon that you can't find anywhere else. We try to have at least one a month that you can come in and unlock and win. And there's also other recipes from Gordon as well. So there's lots of fun stuff there, and I think that's unusual.
I don't think I've ever played a game where I was inspired to make the meal that was featured in the game. Part of your DLC, you need to partner with other games. Go Resident Evil 7, you go look at that house that's at the beginning, and how do you make that terrible, rotten... Actually, don't do that. All the tiles would be green and brown. It would be awful. Nobody needs that. And you mentioned that recipes can be unlocked throughout the game. Do you have a favourite, and have you made it?
So I have to say that the chocolate tart that can currently be won is looking pretty good. So I've been trying to win lots of levels to try and unlock that one.
That is incentive, if ever I've heard it. Well, people can find the game on the App Store and Google Play Store at the moment. Keely, thanks ever so much for talking to me.
Thank you for having me.
What are you waiting for? Play today.
And now I'm going to explode a bomb like Gordon Ramsay told me to. This is all on you, Rammers. Oh, look at it go. Fantastic. So, there you have it. That was a little word from the folks down. Oh, yeah, they've changed sides now. They're down here. I'm losing my mirror reflective capabilities. There's another bomb here. Let's set it off. Go on, then. I feel like you must have played match 3 puzzlers at some point.
A lot.
We do mobile, so there's no way around it. It's obviously like we discussed on the old stream there. Do you like my very quick costume change, by the way? Bit of smoke and suddenly white t-shirt. Yeah, because of all that kind of stuff, we're obviously very inured with the genre, and like we were talking about, it feels like it can be very difficult to do something to make it seem different or energize the genre in some kind of way.
There have been some interesting match-free games over the years that have tied into other genres. Things like Henry Hatsworth on the DS was absolutely fantastic. You completed match threes down the bottom and could unlock items and power-ups using it. So if you think of like the classic Wario Land, where he kind of deformed slightly, you do that, and when you get enough, you're in a massive mech and you can blow everything up in a platformer. Or the classic is Puzzle Quest, which was set in the
That was
forgotten the name now.
not another one of the fantasy ones, wasn't it? The puzzle.
It
Quest?
was, yeah. But it was a full-on RPG. So your character leveled up. You could have pets, of course. This wouldn't be an RPG if you couldn't do that. You could capture cities. You could, do all sorts of things. But all of the combat played out with you doing spells or moves on the sidebar that were spending mana that you got by popping the cubes in the middle.
Yeah, that's right. And in this case, we've got this is the chilies you were talking about earlier. Tap a yellow one, grabs all the yellows, it all goes off. Like I said, genuinely, the whole like having recipes in it. I was like, I don't think I've seen that. That's like, I know
that's.
There've been some interesting ideas where I've seen some people like, hey, what if we cooked a meal that was in a game? And the answer would be like, well, it would be disgusting. Don't do that. So actually having one that gives you like recipe resources, it's like, I feel like it's something you could turn around to people and say, no, look, no, I'm not just playing games. I'm learning. This is edutainment that I'm doing right now.
Well, while these games are, dissimilar from the kind of action fighting waves of enemies games, so many people play these because they're so easy to get into and pick up and play. You don't have to suddenly refresh yourself on a whole bunch of mechanics. It is literally find the matching things. Remember roughly what item you get when you match a certain shape. In this case, like you said earlier, rockets, which I regularly cook with, and then you're away. So. Nice. I do think it's interesting that he voices it over.
Yeah, and
they do often get him going, nice.
Yeah, I know, and I'm not used to Gordon Ramsay complimenting me. That caught me off guard completely. I was expecting abuse, and he's so far he's been quite pleasant. So there you go. If you want to have Gordon Ramsay be nice to you, you can go and give it a look. Obviously, it's available to download on all your app stores at the minute if you want to.
I've got to point out though, before we move to the next segment, that if you have a chef who gets a Michelin star in your restaurant becomes a Michelin star restaurant, right?
Right.
We've had a chef with multiple Michelin stars in our stream. So I think this is the first ever Michelin star video game stream.
I will take it. I'm looking around for something delicious and appetizing. I don't have anything except this water, which is branded, and I'm not showing the brand. But let me tell you, this water, the finest water taken from the best tap in our house. How about that? Delicious Michelin star water there for you, folks.
Michelin star water.
Right. Let us move on to something else. We're going to go from kitchen calamities to desert-based catastrophes. That'll do. That's a link, isn't it?
That was good. I like that. Yeah.
Explode! Black Desert Mobile there, and immediately it's trying to show me more My School Simulator. You've had your time, My School Simulator. Chill out. Instead, we're going to have a little look at this. The new class that's been added to Black Desert Mobile. They've worked with us in the past with previous LaunchPad streams, returning contenders, and they always give us new bits and bobs that we can talk about. And in this case, a melee-based ninja class, which is referred to as Sora. And this is your first glimpse at it. In fact, we have a little bit of video, I believe, to go with it. Here you go. So this is what the class very quickly looks like in action. Sora, he's got his Sura Katana, which is apparently a weapon forged from 6 individual legendary katanas. So it's some kind of like uber katana. There it was. You see it being swiped. He's got kunai throwing knives as a sub-weapon, and then a whole bunch of specific attacks to go with it. If you have to pick your Ninja Warrior's fighting weaponry, Dan, this is sort of a Ninja Warrior / Witch and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, if you like, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
It's a similar deal. So, do you go with the katana, aka the Leonardo? Do you run with the nunchuckers, aka the Michelangelo? Where do you stand on the whole ninja weaponry? What's your choice?
I do. I would like to think that I would use nunchucks, but I can pretty logically. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd just smash myself in the face and break my nose pretty quickly. I think people might just laugh and leave, and that's how I'd win every fight until I didn't have a nose left. I think I like the idea of tonfa batons. I know not a.
They're Li Long, I want to say, from Soul Blade, the original Soul Blade, before it was even Soul Calibur, I think had tonfa style batons. He was on my. He had, or no, he may have had dual nunchucks actually.
There was someone in there with tonfa
like
batons.
tonfas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know Taki had the size. We're getting off topic here, but when we're talking about ninja weapons, it's a serious business. All right. Shurikens. Are you a shuriken thrower? Would you favor the shuriken or the tiny dagger?
If you're gonna throw something, it might as well be an axe.
Whoa. Is that ninja?
No.
No, I don't associate that. I associate that more with like barbarian.
Dwarf.
Yeah. Two-handed over the head like this.
That's it. Yeah.
For me.
Watched the Mortal Kombat movie yesterday in the cinema.
Oh yes.
Because you can see movies now in the cinema over here in the United Kingdom.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a movie.
It certainly began and ended, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Which by Apple's classification basically makes it a game as well. Yeah. Mobile game joke. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. That was that sucked. So, special moves. We're looking at things like we've got a blinding slash with this Sura class here. We've got a shadow break. Apparently strikes and deals lasting pain. I like the fact that they included that.
Lasting pain.
Lasting digital pain.
Rather than that pain that just goes away very quickly and then
Yeah.
you just carry on. Yeah.
Cool. Chill out. Twin Dragon apparently sends forth dark energy along the ground that resembles a dragon's tooth. Mountain Fall, I should say. A two-handed blow to perform a strong cut-off attack. These are just the highlights. There's like a list of about 10.
Yeah.
That I saw. They're getting stuck right into it. But yes, we should say we've covered this on previous streams. We've done more general kind of updates to the whole game. This is a specific thing. If you want to learn more, you can check out the previous streams. But obviously, as with all stuff, go and check out popgamer.com and go and have a look at the game itself if you are interested. It's got a lot of players. We can certainly say that. And now you can choose your virtual turtle, call him Sura, and get him hacking up your enemies like they deserve. Right then, I'm going to get rid of this for a minute. And then we're going to go to one of our features. We're reaching the halfway point on this stream, this Pocket Gamer Launchpad number 4, day 1. If you're watching us, stick with us. We're going to have loads more stuff. We're going to be playing more games and more exclusive reveals are coming for you. You want to see me shooting a whole bunch of unholy crows with a shotgun, don't you? Of course you do. That's all coming up. But first, we're going to do one of our features. Both days, we're doing one of our own features to give you a flavour of what we kind of do on the site day to day. So this is the kind of stuff that we'll be showing you both in list form over on pocketgamer.com and in video form on Pocketgamer's YouTube channel. And today, we're going to be talking about the best games of 2021 on mobile so far. These are our 5 favourites that have been on mobile or indeed on Switch, because it's mobile. Counts, it goes in your pocket if you've got a big pocket. So let's see what the picks are. We'll be back with you in a couple of minutes. An all-new JRPG from the creator of Final Fantasy was always going to generate excitement. But when Fantasian was announced as a mobile exclusive for Apple Arcade, some people were a bit upset. Not us, of course. We know full well that, when done right, turn-based RPGs suit touchscreen platforms down to the ground. Fantasian is a great example of form-serving function, built from the ground up to incorporate gestures and tap intuitive menus. As for the game, well, it's a familiar delight, including a lot of the elements that Final Fantasy enthusiasts adore about the series. You got your magic, your monsters, a spot of amnesia, forests, deserts, airships, and a soundtrack to die for. You already know if you're in the bag for this, so if you have Apple Arcade, then what are you waiting for? Northgard focuses on the collective. You won't be fighting one-on-one with mythological beasts in this Viking adventure. Instead, this real-time strategy game is about clans, not heroes. You've got to establish your Viking colony, expand through the land, find treasure, and tackle enemies as a group. You've got to look after your Outlander family, watch your food supplies, your village defences, and the happiness of your clan members. The production values on this one are top notch. Cracking art style, lush soundtrack, and a stellar voice cast bring the wilds to life on the small screen. A successful translation from PC to mobile, Northgard is an eventful and atmospheric RTS worthy of your time. So, how do you take one of the biggest PC MOBAs in the world and put it onto mobile without destroying it in the process? League of Legends Wild Rift is the answer to this question, and it's a really good answer. Effectively the full League of Legends experience, Wild Rift keeps everything that makes its multiplayer lane battling progenitor so thrilling, while compressing certain elements to increase the pace for mobile players. The map is mirrored instead of asymmetrical to increase accessibility. Turrets have less armor, and the Nexus has neither turrets nor inhibitors protecting them, letting you cut through the battlefield that bit quicker. The character roster has been cut back as well, but for the most part, this is League of Legends, and it plays way better on mobile than any of us expected. It's still early days, and the game is technically still in beta, but we think this is going to be massive. Keep your eyes peeled. Say No More is a one-button adventure that takes place in a world where the word no has been banished. You play as an intern in a company full of jerks, who discovers a self-help tape that teaches you to say no at every available opportunity. Whether you deploy it against colleagues, CEOs, or even your best friend, you can scream it in a multitude of different languages with different emotional affectations. You can even get your enemy to let their guard down, allowing you to unleash an even more powerful no. Though it's obviously framed in a light-hearted way, the game is tackling issues like social etiquette, friendship, and workplace standards, and there's more substance here than you might initially expect. Your character is effectively learning to stand up for themselves, while also using the word to stop their friends from doing themselves down. And despite this, it manages to be incredibly daft and entertaining at the same time. Worth a look if you're after something a bit different. Another game inspired by the classic Chinese fable Journey to the West, Unruly Heroes is a 2D platformer and hack-and-slash hybrid. Taking the role of Sanzung the Sleepy Monk, Wukong the Monkey King, Qihong the Greedy Pig, and San Monk the Sensitive Brute, you've got to recover fragments of the sacred scroll used to maintain balance and harmony in the world. All of which is to say you're going to be battering a whole bunch of weird fantastical beasties across a bunch of incredibly good looking levels. Some of the folks behind this worked on the mobile Rayman games, and it shows. The characters are rammed with personality, from the grunts to the bosses, and the levels themselves challenge you with puzzles as well as enemies. There's a ton of variety, from each character's unique attacks to the rotating gallery of painterly backdrops. It feels simultaneously fresh and classic, and more importantly, it's just a lot of fun. Some of our favourites there from the last few months or so. What's your pick from the lot there? I was pulling from some lists from Pocket Gamer. What do you like?
That's a great list. It's brilliant. Top notch. There's some really beautiful looking games in there as well. Like Unruly Heroes. Every time I see that, I think, wow, they need to make, people need to, or Ubisoft need to make more Rayman games, because Rayman Origins and Legends was beautiful and really captured the spirit of the platformer in a 4-player way. And every time I see Unruly, which is obviously by the same team as made it, it just makes me really nostalgic for that.
Looks awesome, doesn't it? They do a particular style of animation that I don't think anybody else does. It's like instantly recognizable. Closest thing I've seen is Ori in the Blind Forest and that style, which has a similar like painterly look and really fluid animation, but it's just insanely good looking. But that's a mixture of stuff. Some of it was on Switch. I think Say No More came out on Switch this year. Someone was saying in the chat, like, Wild Rift, that's been out for ages. Like, well, no, technically it's not out.
It went into beta I think at the end of last year, and it's only this year come to the US region as well. And technically it's It's in closed beta. I mean, I was just writing in an article just like earlier on this week, kind of like, when is a game truly released now? It's not like it was
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago, where the second it became released to the public, everybody went, right, that's it, it's out, can't do anything about it. Because even back then, you had, when they had to distribute patches through websites in order to get it up. Now things go into early access or soft launch or early access through Google, or there's just so many different ways that you can release your game or get people playing your game before it's complete. And even then, Wild Rift, they've still got over 100 heroes that they need to bring over to that.
God, yeah,
from
like,
League of Legends,
it
and they're
launched with,
planning
like,
on having them in there.
Yeah,
So-
it launched with only like 50 to start off with, and then
Yeah,
they're gradually going to be adding more in. But like we said before, when I first covered it, I was like, oh wow, it's out, brilliant. And everyone was like, no, the whole of America went, no, we don't have this yet. What are you talking about? We can't play. Like, oh, it's still just like they're unlocking it region by region in beta form. So it's sort of out, but it sort of isn't. So it comes under that 20. I think the release will be this year. It will be a 2021 game when it's out. But in the meantime, it's in like I said, surprisingly good nick, and I'm shocked it looks as decent as it does.
And what a year it's going to be for mobile game releases. With that in, you're going to have the new Diablo as well. Diablo Immortal looks outstanding. There's so
despite
many
what
other
everyone
games.
said when it was announced.
Yeah. We know better.
That's right. Yeah, no, it does. It legit actually does look interesting and good. And of all the genres, of all the games, like Diablo, for that kind of like looty, top-down, grindy, hacky slashing, that stuff works well on mobile. Like of all the things to port over, that's one that can actually work. So
there's a Path of Exile mobile coming as well
really?
at some point. I don't know if I meant to talk about that. I don't think anyone gave me an NDA. But yeah, there's one of those in the works that we should see a release date for soon.
Nice.
And that's another game that fits. I mean, that game is... When Final Fantasy X came out and they had the sphere system for how you level up your character, and you assign orbs and move across this endless web of skills and abilities, and oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? It was confusing but fascinating at the same time. And Path of Exile has somehow done that with the ARPG system, and it's so vast. And
oh really?
That's going to be.
I always enjoyed that. I liked the leveling up the orbs. That was fun. I was even more than the materia stuff in Final Fantasy VII. I was like, no, this orb system is good. I'm gonna get Lulu right up to top grade magics. So yeah, check out more lists like that. We've got literally hundreds of the things over on Pokemon's YouTube channel if you want to find out more top lists of best whatnot. We'll be doing a top list. We're covering RPGs tomorrow, our 10 favorites ever on mobile. But there's a ton more on the channel, so you can check it out. And all this stuff is in list form, and they get regularly updated. And you can go and find those over on .com as well, often up to things like top 25. So people are always working hard at keeping the lists up to date and keeping them ticking over, and they're all great. That's where I pull a lot of this stuff from, so get involved. Now, let's get you some games, some good games, a little bit cheaper, shall we? Let's have a look. Playdigious, celebrating a 6-year anniversary with us and with you by giving you a bunch of money off of their games, which is very nice of them. So you saw a selection there that was shown in the trailer. I've got one on hand. There we go. How about that? Got a bit of Dead Cells on mobile, which another one where I was very concerned that it would come out, how you say, bad. But actually turned out to be quite good. I've played it more on other platforms than I have on this, but you can do a lot of customization with the controls. You can slide them all around the screen, which is really important for a game like this that relies on good controls. And the look is perfect and is smooth as hell, and it just kind of works. What other stuff did you like from, like, they mentioned a few games there. What are your picks?
Yeah, so I mean, Playdigious have a really good back catalogue. Like they kind of came from nowhere. The first time I heard about them is when they were announced as the publishers for Dead Cells. which when I first heard about Dead Cells, it was actually like a tower defense game, literally a tower defense game, as in you were standing on top of a plinth, wave defense, defend the top of a tower, rather than the whole set up defenses thing. But they took that system and they built it into this run-based game and did a great job. And then the next thing I heard, they were attached to Playdigious, and after that, you know, Playdigious's catalog is astonishing. The other games that are available, if you didn't see them all inside the SAL trailer, there's Northgard, which is obviously that RTS, but it's an RTS that plays more like the Settlers style RTS rather than the base building of Command and Conquer, i.e. it's about supply lines and stuff like that, which is, once again, it's a beautiful looking game, really enjoyable. Dungeon of the Endless is
was a previous covered thing on LaunchPad.
We showed off the first footage of the game running.
Yeah.
And that's once again fantastic. You're clearing room by room, setting up power and getting a few characters and using them correctly, like puzzle pieces, basically, to solve your way through what is essentially a puzzle game, even though it very much just looks like an action-based dungeon crawling game. Cultist Simulator is a fantastic and interesting twist on the idol genre, in that you're playing as, well, you end up as the head of a cult, really, but there's just this really deep world that you explore by having these cards play out and carefully moving resources between things, which all starts as you work in a job and earning money, which you can then spend to buy a book, and you read the book, and the book allows you to have certain dreams, and you go into the dream world. The dream world teaches you something, and you find a fragment of a memory, and then you find an occultist, and they join your clan. And then it just spirals. And then you can die and take on the role of the police officer who was investigating your previous character, and they find all of your occult stuff, and then so it really spirals, and it's such an interesting twist on the idol genre, because there's so many of these little timers just ticking down that you need to keep an eye on as well.
It's very kind of Cthulhu business going on.
Yeah, there definitely is. Very old gods, very Lovecraft stuff. Also on their SAL, you've got the Almost Gone, which is the really cool isometric puzzle game where you can rotate the rooms to see different things.
Yeah, I played that one. That was really good.
It's really good. And there's quite a sad story to be found, but it plays like a lot of those kind of detective or escape room games that you play from a top-down angle, but with this beautiful puzzle, but with that puzzle element, but with a kind of beautifully told, carefully told story that laces throughout it.
No,
and obviously there's Dead Cells, which you're playing at the minute. It was one of my probably favorite games the year that launched.
Really?
And I followed that all the way from, once again, early access. So was it released? Ooh, who knows?
I toyed around with it a little bit. Like, I never actually owned it, but I played it at a friend's place. Came over one time and was like, this is incredibly sort of smooth and slick, and all right, okay, I can see how this is a big deal. It makes real sense.
There's a rhythm to it, in the same way that there is to fighting games.
Yeah.
So you know how you get tells when you're playing Street Fighter and you see a character lean back, you know that you're about to get smashed in the face, for instance.
Yeah, the
wind-up.
And
you start recognizing those frames and the wind-ups. And once you've got that down, all of a sudden it's almost like poetry. It's almost like playing a dance against these things. So these little green guys, you learn exactly when to dodge out of the way. And then more variables just get added into the situation, so you can get a bow, or you can get grenades, or you can get these bear trap things that just gob stuff out, and your character can then be upgraded. The bow is
strong.
The bow is phenomenal.
It's a good
and then you start unlocking new abilities as well, because there's like this Metroidvania element to it, where all of a sudden you can grow these giant stalks, basically, from kind of seedlings, which allow you to access new areas, because where you are at the moment is like this big hub zone, and that will persist throughout as kind of do all of your unlocks that you gather to. Yeah, phenomenal game.
That flame thing is good. I probably just shouldn't have set myself on fire there, but I like the look of that. Yeah, very nice. This, like, it takes a little getting used to. There's always an adjustment period when you played something on a, you're used to a controller, and you wind up obviously, picking up the touchscreen thing. And like I say, I positioned these buttons in a way that is sort of convenient. And while generally I tend to be like, too many buttons, anything more than 3 buttons, and you're like pushing your luck here. These have been implemented quite well, and particularly the running. So the floating stick they've got here rather than having 2 buttons. Because 2 buttons is no good. You need to be able to, for example, like push down and do the jump to be able to slide, like drop down through platforms in that old school 16-bit platformer kind of way. So it's essential that you need a bit of verticality in it as well. And it does work. I do not feel like... The only thing I'm being hamstrung by is the fact that I'm crap at this game, rather than the game itself like being cruel to me or anything, you know.
But you do get better at it with time, because it is like those run-based games where it is you have to kind of learn the beat, or what people say about Dark Souls, for instance. You have to kind of learn the movements and the.
Dan, I'm tickling some green goo. Why?
Yes, that's the thing you can build the stalks from that I mentioned earlier.
Right, cool.
Once you've beaten a couple of bosses.
Good game you got here, Dan. Tickling the green goo, is it?
There you go.
Cool. Great. No, this is class. I'm a big fan. I've always loved the way it produced, and the people who recommended it to me were like one of my game dev friends actually was like, "You must play this. This is the good stuff."
I do really like the customization of the button layout. I like what you've got there. Looks like a bit of a jumbled mess compared
How dare you?
Compared to what the default would be on a platformer, for instance, where you just have that little cluster of 4 buttons in the bottom right corner, and you've kind of spread them out actually based on your reach.
But I find sometimes that well, I'm used to put my thumb in certain positions, and I find that people tend to cluster them really close together in a way that's very easy to mispress, to accidentally drop a bomb when you were just meaning to slap in the face.
Which is a problem that me and a lot of other people have out there. Like I've kind of broke my thumb many years ago, and it's broken. I can't bend the thumb, and it's warped off slightly to the side. Let's give my thumb some screen time. So that right thumb there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I can bend that a little bit, but anytime I'm using an analog stick, for instance, I'm actually off center. Okay. And so when it comes to touchscreen controls, if they don't have that adjustableness, it is tough. I've got kind of a claw hand thing going on, right? So I was really, really impressed with them having the custom layout.
This fills me with joy, Dan. Whenever I see one of these sort of like Castlevania style Metroid maps, and it's on a side scrolling, like, oh look, I'm gonna have to double back and I'm gonna have to go back to that room over there when I have the right key to get in. Ori in the Blind Forest, that has a lot of that going on in it, and I love that stuff. Gradually unlocking in different places, bit by bit. And I like it when you start committing maps to memory, because you just constantly backtracking and going backwards and forwards, and that feeling you get when the door that was locked for the past 2 hours is suddenly unlocked, and there's this whole other, you get this immense feeling of like space opening up, and it's crazy satisfying. Big fan. And yeah, this is slick as hell. Big fan of it. So
obviously the game that Epic are definitely most known for, Shadow Complex, the only game they've ever made,
right?
Did that fantastically.
The 2.5D side-scrolling business.
It was brilliant. It was a class game. Yeah.
So all of these games are currently available with various percentages off. So I can tell you right now, Dead Cells 40% off at the minute if you want to go and grab it on mobile. This is on iOS and Android, and all the other ones, things like Northgard and Dungeons of the Endless and whatnot, are either 30 or 40% off on their respective platforms, and even 80% off on PS4. We don't talk about that. Nintendo Switch also has 8% off as well, and that's all right. That's good. Don't try and put a PS4 in your pocket, Dan. It ends badly for your tailor. So, let us move to something else. We're going to be talking about another one of these guys up top here. We've had a word with Rammers already. Now we're going to chat to Daisy. Daisy. I was thinking about how dangerous things are about to get. Let's have a look at Daisy's Revenge in action. Daisy's Revenge there. Another game that we covered previously on one of our streams, and we can now actually play. So we showed a little trailer and stuff before. Now we've got the full shebang. They've given us an advanced build. I don't know if it's advanced, actually. This is currently out and available, so it's probably the standard build. Either way, I've got a shotgun, and this crow right here. Oh, yeah, look, right, I'm going to need you people in the stream, I'll look up for a second, to tell me how much volume I should have on this right now. But think duck hunting, except instead of ducks, it's crows, and instead of using that little poxy little pop gun that you get in the original NES game, I've got a big shotgun, a big pink shotgun, and I'm doing damage. What, in the edge of the gates of hell? Perhaps it's one of those games, Dan. One of those shoot birds by hell.
Is it Cerberus that picks up the
in this
crows,
instance, yeah,
the crow's bodies? Yeah,
runs over and grabs them 3 at a time. That's how he does business. Whoa, yeah, there you go. Now there are other weapons to choose from. You can see crows counting up down here on the bottom of the screen. If you ever miss one, like I did near the beginning, then they kind of fly into your face and do you damage. And that's the thing that stops you getting to the next round. There are other weapons as well to mess around with. I'm defaulting to shotgun because of you know, I have problems with my masculinity, and I need a gun that makes the biggest bang. Otherwise, I don't feel manly enough. But there are also, there's a, I don't think it's a sniper. There is definitely an assault rifle type, you know, like a single shot rifle. Shoot the cans! Shoot the cans! Crap! No! Crap! Oh, got one. Nice. And we'll have a look at those as well. But there is something satisfying about classic, old-fashioned gallery shooters. I've told the story before about how back when Square Enix were doing those Go games, Lara Croft Go and Hitman Go, they were all very good. They were winning all the awards, but the thing that was making the money, the thing that was successful, was Hitman Sniper. The other game,
Sniper Challenge, yeah.
Yeah, that was the game that was bringing in all the money and keeping the studio afloat because, you know, awards, they don't necessarily pay the bills. But people loved the Hitman Sniper and doing all that gallery shooting business.
They need to make more. They definitely need to make more. They added it into it's in the Hitman core game now.
Really, the Sniper Challenge?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen.
I don't believe it's the original. Don't believe it's the original ones. The mobile stuff at least. But,
okay, I got you.
Yeah, the two sniper agents that I think were mentioned in it are now in the Hitman. I think it was added in Hitman 2, but it's definitely in Hitman 3.
Okay. See, there are a lot of like sniper hunty games that are available. They're very big in the States and globally as well, I think. And I've always been a little bit bonus round. Sorry, I'm interrupting for Twin Uzis, Dan. Come on, I've got to mow them all down. What I was about to say,
start doing Terminator quotes,
was that I've been a bit indifferent on these kind of hunting games because I feel bad for the animals as I cackle while using Twin Uzis on a bunch of crows.
Shooting animals. Yeah.
Well, this mitigates it somewhat by having them be basically demon crows hanging out in a graveyard, almost certainly up to no good. So I don't feel quite so bad about blowing them to smithereens. There's a sort of fantasy, removed reality thing going on here, which makes me feel less bad about doing it. I don't know, are you a Far Cry person who likes going around hunting lions and stuff or not?
I definitely wouldn't comment on a public stream if I've ever travelled to South Africa and hunted lions.
Yeah, don't do that.
I see you trying to. Yeah, I see what you're trying to do. But
I've seen your Instagram.
I enjoyed some of the Far Cry games. I don't think I've properly played them since 4 though.
No, I suppose not.
Enjoyable, yeah.
But and it's something about, because generally I like animals. I'm a fan of them. They do good work. And so just like when the core mechanic is the animal murder thing. Funny how people get funny about animal murder. When it comes to shooting like random space marines, oh, that's fine. Don't worry about that. But not the puppy. Never the puppy. I've seen John Wick. I see what happens. But with this, like, yeah, it's also removed. It's also purple and fancy, and there's big rock music blaring, and there's lightning everywhere. And there are skulls on the side of this gate, for crying out loud.
Oh, we've got comments, James, saying that the volume seems to be off.
Off! It's going on in my ears. Allow me to crank the shotgun action. Here you go. This is me trying not to deafen you guys. Oh no, I shot. Oh, that was good. I shot a white crow, and I thought that was like when you go to a shooting range and they have a woman and a baby standing there, and I'd accidentally shot them. Right, here we go. Back to the minigun challenge. Can everyone hear this?
Does that happen when you go to shooting ranges often, James?
Well, they're made of cardboard traditionally. There was one time
right.
I was asked never to return to the Golden Uzi Lodge, but. Look, we shouldn't talk about this on the stream. Here we go, coming down. Can people hear the shotgun now? Can people hear it?
Yes.
Someone say much better.
They
Good.
seem,
All right,
they
then.
seem to believe so. Yes.
So previously on other streams, I've had it cranked way too loud and people objected. So, oh, I'm nearing.
I've actually got the stream muted so that I don't hear myself back.
Yes.
Is there music playing from the game throughout? Because
No, not at the minute.
Okay.
And also, I have to say that because there is music, like as part of the game series, they've got actual kind of artists involved
Yeah,
with it.
the band, the Dead Daisies are attached.
That's the ones.
Yeah.
And I was concerned about the fact that we're playing this on YouTube and on Twitch. And Twitch can get a bit funny when it's actual artists and music. You tend to
Yes,
get
true.
copyright strikes and get muted. I was like, I don't know if we should show this or not. So we're being lulled to sleep by the soothing sounds of shotgun fire and squawking dead crows. Ravens, I should say. They're
The
ravens.
Squawking Dead. That's good. Write that down.
Yep. I've said it live on a stream now. I've ruined it. Where is everybody? I can't see him. Oh, there's one in the background. Come on. I'm waiting to die so I can show you another gun, but I don't want to break the run. I'm doing all right. White Dove, back from the grave. 1 life back. This run is never going to end, Dan. That's it. We've got other games to cover, but I'm not breaking this glorious unbroken run. Oh no, a crow just wandered off while I was self-aggrandizing. Get it in. There. So, from the pure gameplay aspect, you can obviously tell what it looks like and everything. It plays all right. It feels decent. You can see me successfully targeting crows from a million miles away, which must mean that the controls are behaving themselves. And I feel like we're so far into the, I guess, the evolution of gallery shooters that we know how to do this now. And also, this is one of the things that touchscreens can do really well. Like, this is one of the things where I know people like favour keyboard and mouse over using analog sticks, for example, for first-person shooters. Some people can't play FPS games on controllers, they don't like it. Whereas this, by just rocking your thumb around, it gives you a very, very precise control that's not that far away from the mouse. It's pretty good at it. I feel comfortable. Oops. Oh no, nice. Which one? I'm gonna have to keep looking at the clock, because otherwise I will just play this. You watch me. When's the next one supposed to happen? Okay, I've got about 5 minutes. 4 minutes. Let's see if I can stay alive for 4 minutes. Beautiful. My instincts, however, Dan, my Doom playing instincts want me to shoot those red
Shoot the
barrels.
barrels.
Yeah, 100%. I want to shoot the barrels.
I'm surprised they're on fire, to be honest. As everyone knows, the second you paint a barrel red, it becomes explosive.
Yes, that is how that works.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy my Doom. So here we go. Oh no! Oh! I think that means I may have failed. The Raven of Doom pecked my face off.
You don't need those eyes, do you?
Nuts. Just showing you where I am on the leaderboard. Rocker. Look at the random name it shows for me. Rocker and a whole bunch of numbers. Send. No swear words allowed. I'm not swearing. I didn't do any swearing. That's not rocket's not a swear word. What are you talking about? I'm just gonna call myself PG. You can't argue with that, can you? Send. Skip.
This is the voice control. This isn't a fighting game.
I'm gonna return to the game. Swipe, play, go. There we are. Right. I want to swipe up to choose my weapon. No, choose my weapon. Swipe up. I lock that navigation thing at the bottom, so it doesn't let me swipe out of it. But there's too much going on here. Now, here we go. So, that's the shotgun that we've been using up until now. We've got this spinning, I guess, it's not really a sniper, it hasn't got a scope on it. So just a standard
rifle.
rifle.
Yeah.
And then over here we've got the little gun. I'm going to go rifle. Yeah, let's do rifle this time. For the last 2 minutes to see how this performs. Bring on the winged dead. Or the winged soon to be dead. Here you are. Oh, hello. Okay. Yes! Got him in the end. Oh my god! The level of blood splatter on that one. Holy cow. I was not expecting. Yikes. This tears him up. Brutal. But, ooh. Yeah, right. This has quite a lot of weight behind it. I know I keep returning to Mass Effect, but because the shooting was always quite rough in the original Mass Effect, despite it being the best game, because it is the best one.
It is.
They have tightened things up a little bit, so I've been using the sniper rifle for the very first time. Because it was just pointless trying to do it with the original game.
They've changed it from the whole, it will hit in this area.
Yeah.
and until your aiming gets better thing, haven't they?
That's right. So
Yeah.
you're pretty much just playing it like a regular shooter now, which is probably the best. More like this, in fact.
I'm going to derail your Mass Effect statement and ask you, did you ever play Alpha Protocol?
I played. Oh, it's going to be like first 4 stages of it or something. First 4 levels. Like way back when. We're talking like what? PS3, Xbox 360.
Yeah,
only.
it suffered from the same problem in that your character's gun skill decided the size of the reticle and how quickly it went down to the smallest point. So
Right.
if you were playing as someone who had no ability with shotguns and you picked up a shotgun, you just have this massive circle and you could hit anywhere in that circle. It was ridiculous.
Right.
If they gave that game the kind of like Mass Effect treatment and brought that all the way down, maybe scrapped that or tweaked it or just finessed it a little bit, then yeah, that was such a good game.
There's a lot of love for it. Like it's
Yeah.
one of those kind of like classic 7 out of 10s that people are super fond of. Like flawed but brilliant.
I am a big Obsidian fan, to be
Okay.
honest, and they do just, or they did spend a lot of time, and a lot of the kind of ex-BioWare staff spent a lot of time releasing games that were just, yeah, they were what people would label 7 out of 10s, because they had big flaws, but you know, if you muscled through it, they, in my opinion, they were better than some of the core series.
Hey, I've been playing a lot of Pillars of Eternity. That's cracking. Obsidian
Fantastic.
Stuff right
That
there.
that
Brilliant.
is that
Old
is
school
yeah. They really
RPG.
came into their own. I've got the collector's edition of that somewhere with the signatures from all of the production leads.
La-di-da.
Yes,
You, Mr.
oh.
Fallout New Vegas. Miniguns! What, not
Fallout New Vegas
please.
was class. I
Yes,
see what
it's-
you're doing here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is good. That was
was.
this. That was all fun. I'm going to send the feathers flying and then I'm going to have to stop playing this because this is probably more fun for me than anybody else. Shooting the birds now. Right, we're going to stop playing it. Stop. Turn it off. I'm never going to do anything else. Okay, right. That was a little look there at Daisy's Revenge, which you can currently download on platforms at this very moment for free if you want a bit of a, I'm going to say duck hunting, but it's not. It's a bit of demon raven shooting. Get involved if you like. It's currently available, and you can see that you can see the title up there above our heads if you ever get lost and need to find it somewhere. So we've got a couple more things left to cover. We're going to introduce the Sundew, which is going to be an explanatory video. There's going to be someone talking you and guiding you through a little bit about the game, what it's all about, better than I ever could. And then we're going to play some more stuff to see us through till the end. So let's kick things off.
I'm Agnès Villaume, the creator and solo developer of the Sundew. Let's start by talking about the universe of the Sundew, a dark universe where the future rhymes with disenchantment, where robots are no longer synonymous with progress, where the rain falls too often. It's a universe inspired by my favorite books and movies, especially Blade Runner. The game starts in Shibukawa, Japan, on Sunday the 27th of September 2054. 3 years after the Third World War, mainly between China and the United States, Tokyo no longer exists. The city has been wiped off the map of Japan. Today, Shibukawa has become the new capital. You play as Anna, a cybercop who was created for the Japanese police. She will be trapped in a conflict between an anti-globalization association and the government, associated with the conglomerate Sagi Electrics. On Sunday, September 27, 2054, an important mission has been entrusted to her, and her life changes. She leaves Shibukawa against her will to find herself in Abashiri, on the island of Hokkaido, where something is happening that could change the lives of all Japanese people. In Abashiri, it doesn't rain, it snows, but this apparent softness hides many secrets. The Sundew is inspired by the classic point-and-click adventure games because I'm a big fan of the old adventure games like those of LucasArts and Sierra, but I tried to give it a little different touch to make it more up-to-date. So now, let's take a look at what happens to Anna near the end of her journey. Anna arrived on a mountain. At the bottom of that mountain is a Westerstein castle that seems to stand on or in some kind of island, and there are big light tubes behind the castle. The castle is completely flooded. Anna is now a tiny little point which takes a boat across the lake and first goes to see what's behind the castle. She arrives in a very weird place in a kind of jungle with strange lightning cables that seem to carry light at a high speed and all kinds of plants and trees. She picks up a stick, inspects everything, then she goes to look at a panel, removes something from it. It may be useful for later. And she finds something in the hand of the skeleton. It's a badge. This kind of thing can be really useful. She takes the boat again to go toward the castle now. Inside the castle is a large door without any handle. It's possible that the badge Anna found works on it. Bingo! I wonder if we will find any treasure behind the door. Wow, what is this place? That's it for today. The game will be released this year on Nintendo Switch, PC, Windows and Linux, and I'm looking forward to you meeting Anna for yourself. Bye bye!
Bye-bye. I like a chirpy narrator person. They're the best. So there you've got the Sundew. I'm going to throw up a really nice piece of art over here. This is already giving me big, warm kind of, Blade Runner-y vibes from that particular, that picture, that look. But I've got a big soft spot in my heart for point-and-click adventures. I'm going to imagine that you're similar.
Yeah, exactly the same. I get to pick the stuff that goes into this event, and what do you know? We've got at least 3 Nintendo Switch point-and-click adventure games over today and tomorrow.
Yeah. But they're great though. Like I don't feel like there's possibly an age thing. Like if you are like more towards 30s than perhaps your 20s or your teens, you maybe remember growing up with a few more of these. But I feel like there's been like just as much of a resurgence of them in the nostalgia market recently, where even if you're young, you'll have encountered them like straight out the gate. And there is something about those story-driven, like particularly like narrative and dialogue-driven games with some puzzles in them, that really formed the foundation upon which things like what we were just talking about earlier, things like your Mass Effect, things like your entire Telltale series, all of those interactive story adventure games kind of came from these things.
Yeah, they did. This was the adventure genre, wasn't it? So originally you had text adventures, and then you had graphic adventures, is what I grew up calling point and click games. Okay. And then they just became point and click games when the adventure title became, I guess, Wonder Boy and Metroid and Castlevania, which now many of those are called, Metroidvanias. So where does that leave adventure, huh? I guess it's Tomb Raider and Uncharted, and that's it. But adventure started with
these things.
With these,
catch-all, I suppose. But certainly, and I get the impression that a lot of people are much more familiar with these if you're used to a lot of games. So the Japanese novel-style games, the interactive novels, are still very much alive and well in places other than just the US and the UK. So there is a huge market for these. People want to sit down and read stuff rather than just have it, blasted into their ears, with a lot of accompanying interesting art, and can be drawn just as deeply into a story via text rather than all the flashy 3D graphics business. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy me some 3D, and we're playing lots of new stuff at the moment. It's very fancy. Resident Evil 8 with your ray tracing on 60 frames a second. Lovely. Very much enjoying it. But the classic 2D animation stuff, there's something, particularly with stuff like this, it's very chill. There's a very nice, soothing, relaxing vibe to it.
It's chill, but it can also be tense at the same time. I think if we applied movie genres which haven't changed and evolved over the ages, occasionally a new one will pop up or whatever, but then point and click adventure games in many ways now almost have that pacing of the thriller, in that there's a little bit of a puzzle, and rather than us watching the characters do those puzzles, we now obviously control the characters doing those puzzles.
Get to do it ourselves, which is a lot of what, we were talking earlier about the fact that we started a site called Beyond Games, which is focusing specifically on transmedia, and that's where we're seeing the bleed of not just, originally we watched films and we read books, and then we created games, and games are these things where hey, what if you controlled the story? How cool would that be? And now we're all kind of accustomed to that. And now television is turning around and going, hey, what if you wanted to control the television, and we can actually change the narrative as it goes along? And it's like this weird feedback loop where everything is starting to influence everything else. And it doesn't, I guess it doesn't surprise me in some ways, given the way it's gone. And we're all much more familiar with that language, the language of reaching into a story and going, no, off, on, that bit goes over there. I want him to meet her. I want her to meet her. And that's how this is. Bend to my will, basically. I may have power control issues. And this, it looks to me like it's harking back to, I've for example, that classic Blade Runner, like CD-ROM game, the Westwood one.
Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
That's if you want to talk about like noirish point-and-click detective games, that's the one. Hey, Monkey Island and all that, yeah, it's all great. LucasArts games, Indiana Jones, Fate of Atlantis, cracking. That Blade Runner game, which changes a little bit every time, and so you don't know who the killer is. Yeah, that's a really good time. So I'm interested to see what they do with this, and I enjoyed the explanation, and I'm looking forward to seeing it appear. So unfortunately, I don't have a Switch. It's the one thing I don't have. So I'll have to rely on other people telling me whether it's any good or not. But as you mentioned, there are going to be other things available on Steam and other platforms besides. But if you like all that classic LucasArts business, then this might be worth keeping your eye on. So The Sundew is the name. Out sometime this year. Right, let's amp things up a bit. I fancy a race to the finish. A quite literal race to the finish, Dan. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Fantastic. All right, then. Here we go.
Rocket. Arena. Car. Extreme.
I think it's not playing its cards close to the chest at all. This game knows exactly what it is.
Yes.
It's a big blasty racer, literally called Race. Let's hop into the career mode here. So I've played just a level or two just to make sure everything works and is behaving. Now I'm going to get stuck in. This, I guess, falls into the category of racer which I enjoy the most. By which I mean, rather than your, for example, very serious-headed Gran Turismo, I'm going to tweak the brakes and, spend 10 minutes tuning before each race. No, Wipeout. Give me a big floaty futuristic thing with a rocket on the back of it. That's my jam.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, vehicular combat.
Yes, sure. Make it sound highbrow if you like. So here we go. Automatic acceleration. You can already see I've got the option to speed boost right here, which I've just done. There are pads to roll over, there are ramps to jump upon, and of course weapons to pick up. So I'm going to start shooting my enemies. Damn, I'm bouncing off the wall here. There is something about the older, the Wipeout of it all, those kind of combat driving games that really got me hooked in back in the original PlayStation era. Ooh, If you have to race, do you prefer racing with weapons, or are you a serious person? Do you do proper inverted commas racing?
No. I really like the drifting-based games as well. To be honest, It's not always super realistic. I really enjoyed the Dirt series and the Grid series from Codemasters.
Yes.
But before that, I did play a lot of games like Road Rash, where you were knocking other people off the vehicles. I cannot remember at the moment.
How is Road Rash not been? There must be a licensing thing. I cannot believe
they tried to
it.
remake it. They tried to remake it, and they made it into Road, and then that failed, and a game came out called Road Redemption, which was really good a few years ago.
Okay.
But since then, nobody else has touched it, which is odd because it was really good. They were still making them until the PlayStation 1 era. I did have one on PS1 that I think was called Road Rash World Tour. Okay. That was quite enjoyable. But yeah, it was a really good formula. I'm not too sure why nobody returned to it yet. But I am glad that we have shooting and blasting games like this. And Race is a game that we've been watching for a while on Pocket Gamer. I'm kind of waiting for a chance to talk about it, because you kind of, when you're on the news circuit, you kind of wait for them to hit a big milestone, or you wait for the release date to be announced, or you wait for the next big trailer to be launched, and then you're like, jump on it, now is the time to do it. because very quickly after joining Google Early Access, they just started racking up users. They were gaining like 20,000 a day. All of a sudden, they had over 3 million downloads, well, just in Early Access, which is pretty unprecedented because they had no marketing efforts. It was just word of mouth, reputation, and obviously the great visuals that got it.
And like you say, it's difficult sometimes with the pre-release stuff to tell if it's going to turn into anything good. And obviously, when you see stuff in beta, the fact that it is unfinished tends to mean that sometimes the visuals are a bit ropey or things are in a state that maybe doesn't show it in the best light. Hence, closed betas where they don't really want you to show you gameplay and whatnot. This seems to be alright. This seems to be like behaving itself quite nicely, i.e. it's not glitching and bugging out all over the place. And it doesn't look bad. I mean, I imagine it will look better by the time it gets into its final stage. But it's not one of these things where, I mean, not to pull something down to push something else up, but did you see, what's the other big multiplayer shooter stream? Not Fortnite, not Overwatch, the
Free Fire?
The Titanfall ones. What am I thinking of? The people what do Titanfall? Everyone's screaming at me.
Apex Legends.
Thank you. Did you see the Switch port of that? And more importantly, did you see the beta for the mobile version?
I did not see the Switch version. I've seen the beta running. That is a cat, yes.
Cat. Important.
Yes. Cat.
And actually, it's actually staying there now. Yes,
cat.
mate.
Yep.
That's
cat. I'm going to move the cat.
No, stay, leave it. Stay, wave the cat. The cat just explodes, and then drop it in 3, 2, 1. Bamf! The cat's gone. Take this button away from me, Christ. Right.
Yes. No. I saw some of Apex running. Yes, I'm quite interested in it and how it does. But yes.
It's like the footage that was released, and there's not much of it that was released from the beta there. It shows you why they wanted it to be a closed beta, because it's
still needs work, definitely.
Sure it may look brilliant when it's finished. That's the point of a beta, to clarify. But the initial shots will let you do it. So thankfully, this is coming up a little bit better. I'm still waiting for the next Wipeout game. I mean, I guess Studio Liverpool closed, so it's never going to happen for me.
There were other games like Wipeout. You had Redout and Pacer. I think it's Pacer or Racer, but that was really hard for me. I never really got along well with the Wipeout games. I just couldn't hit enough notes to keep the speed up to keep going.
Sure.
There's some games where I guess it's a bit like Mario Kart. If you haven't played Mario Kart since like the SNES, you play it now and you're like, why do I have to drift 90% of the time in order to, and Sonic Team Racing and stuff. To go back actually into the comments, we had Darv mention Burnout, and yes, I adored Burnout.
Oh yeah,
Burnout Takedown and Revenge were phenomenal. I didn't get along too well with Paradise City.
No, me neither. Takedown was the one. Burnout 3 was
definitely the
absolute
one.
king. It was such a good game, such a good multiplayer thing. You don't need licensed vehicles; it doesn't matter. Just like that gameplay was so solid, so much fun. Whoa, a lot of swinging death traps here. The one that I really loved, that I think maybe only I loved, was Roll Cage. That was the other sort of Studio Liverpool thing that came out. Roll Cage, PS1. It was almost like those little remote control cars, but with similar-ish, I guess, handling. Similar aesthetic to the Wipeout stuff. I always thought it was phenomenal.
That got a follow-up, didn't it? Or,
yeah, it got a sequel. But
yeah.
I don't think it was ever as mainstream popular as Wipeout was. But the studio, alas, is with us no more, so we don't get any more of them. Gutted. But this is gently scratching an itch for me, Dan, in a nice place.
It looks fantastic. It's always fun to have these just fun little arcadey. I guess that kind of like arcadey vibe where it's not realistic in any element of it. You're driving these massive wheeled vehicles. Devices, sorry, a bit thrown off by the cat, and
I just saw the cat again.
It's just come back, yeah.
I will be joining in the obligatory ad, because yes, of course there are ads involved in this. I'm going to crank that down because it's coming in way too loud. But a free-to-play gives access to other people. That's the give and the take of the free-to-play thing. And sometimes I don't like a bit. I don't like free-to-play. I find it intrusive. But like that, I mean, how many matches did I just play there? How many races did I do before it kicked in?
That was probably a good four 4 or 5 maybe.
Yeah, that's not bad. The things that I can't stand is like the moment you turn it on, ad. You press one button, ad. You like go to do your first race, ad, and it's just like, come on. Like I understand why they're there. Oh, they've already got in like. I just skipped past it, but I think they were literally apologizing for the ads being
Yeah, they
there.
did. Yeah.
Wow.
Goodness.
Maybe you can buy it. Maybe they have that set up so you can pay 99p or $1.99 and get rid of them, which is something I massively support. I always think that's a good thing to do. Let's try this one. Why not? Move over here. I'm going to crank the volume back up again. There we go. I do want to unlock these other vehicles, though. These are the ones where you can pay to unlock or maybe do a bit of grinding, and I'm near the beginning, so I haven't done anywhere near enough. Ooh, I can change the colours, though. Right, now we're talking. I can splash some cash and customization. Oh, yes.
You'll definitely go faster now.
You know it. Let's go into the wheels. Let's give us some... I've gone for the red. Yes, keep it red. Yes, nice, lovely. I spent... Before I started properly playing Mass Effect again, I booted it up the evening before and spent a very nice chill hour and a half making my Shepard. With no pressure to actually start playing the thing. It's a little custom now. It's a very nice time. Let's go! Yeah, this is pretty, like, in terms of, like, it feels like it's doing a 60 FPS thing. There's kind of an elasticity to the movement. You feel like you're driving one of them big monster trucks. There's that,
you're
sway.
bouncing around everywhere, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, when you go to turn, you can feel it kind of leaning a little bit. That's quite nice.
It makes it look like there's a lot of screen wobble on there, and I don't know if it's just actually where that camera is fixed onto the body of your vehicle, and so you're swaying around.
The only concession to mobile really is that the acceleration is automatic. That's the thing that they've done to get one less button on the screen. But honestly, if you're pressing the brake in games like this, I don't know what to say to you. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's like if you look at the Asphalt series, where the more recent ones are self-driving, it's totally fine. You know, it's totally fine because most of the time here you're trying to get first or trying to get in front.
Well, you do have those options. The thing with the Asphalt games is people freaked out because it was like, all you do is swipe left and right, and it's like, well, no, that was the default control. You can drive it like a normal.
You can actually drive it.
Yeah. People chilled out a little bit after that, which is good. But whoa! Yeah. Ooh, I don't think I'm going to win this one. I may lose one. Oh my god! Position. Second. All right. That's not too bad.
First loser. There you go.
I thought it was. How dare you? Let's get the cat back on. The cat supports me. The cat knows what I'm all about. What's the cat's name for the fans?
That's Pancake.
Pancake the cat. Oh, that's Pancake. Of course I have that.
Because he's got a flat face. So,
oh, that's
like a pancake.
That's teasing. That's what that is. That's just cruel. Right. Before we go, hey, look, battle mode. There's a battle mode that's just been unlocked. Now, is this going to be against real humans? Can't be. Can it be? Let's find out. I'm into this now. Let's do battle mode. I haven't done this. We're going to finish the stream with battle mode. By the way, if any of you are still watching and you've been here since the beginning, thank you so much. It's been a fun 2 hours, at least for me. And you know what? We're going to do it all over again tomorrow. We're going to be back with another couple of hours of mobile exclusive announcements. All new games, all new news, all new videos, all new interviews. And we're going to be back with a different guest as well. We're going to be joined just by the cat next time. It's going to be me and Pancake. 2 hours. Pancake nodding approvingly, silently, but supportively. Damn. And it's going to be someone else. And we'll introduce you when they appear. But we're very much looking forward to it. And if you want to get involved in future streams, make sure that you maybe subscribe to the Twitch channel or the YouTube channel. So stream them both at the same time. And it's always sitting at the top of pocketgamer.com. A little drop-down thing appears. How does it work, Dan?
Little drop-down thing appears, James.
Yeah, there you go then. Fantastic. So whenever you visit the site, and if we happen to be live, you'll see us there floating right at the top. You can come and join us and get a chat.
So I should interrupt because I'm now being accused by the comments of having a full name for Pancake. His full name, to my understanding, is Panzanella Salad, which is a type of bread salad, and his surname is Cake. Apart from he's got another surname. So to short, it is Pancake, because his face looks like a pancake. But the prolonged version is another series of fruit.
Right. Oh, this is the battle mode has battled me, Dan. I'm not going to revive though. I'm gonna take my licks and I'm gonna try again. That's the way to do it. I might let's restart. That name has just raised more questions, Dan.
It's better. It's better. The other cat's called Pesto.
Pesto.
Pesto. And there's a hamster upstairs called Lasagna as well.
Okay, so there's a theme. I respect the commitment to the bit. That's good. Yeah, right. So battle mode is quite battly. Slightly more battly than I was expecting. Damn, they're so aggressive. Shields.
I do really like how the vehicle just wobbles about everywhere as you're moving around. It just looks so smooth. It gives it this extra layer of polish. Like when you do get screen shake in twin-stick shooters and stuff like that, it just really just pulls you into the game.
A little bit of that sort of screen shake, and I think people overuse it. You often see it a lot in films where they use they shake the camera to emphasise a hit or a landing. And frankly, sometimes they go way too far and rely on it as a crutch. But a little bit here and there, well placed, very nice, very good.
Agreed.
More speed. I think I'm missing all the actual. I'm trained to go for the speed power-ups when I should be going for the weapons. It's clearly battle mode is all about trying to blow the crap out of everything. No. Move! Ah! This is it. I've hit the wall. Battle mode is doing me in. Come on, I've got time for one more before we go. Come on. Try it.
You can put the other one on. Put the other one on.
What other one? Oh yeah,
one.
the duck shooty one. You mean?
Yeah.
We'll do that. No problem. Well, everybody who has watched and joined us for the past 2 hours, thank you ever so much. We are delighted to have you. Throw your names in the chat, give us a wave, say goodbye, and we shall say goodbye also. And come and join us again tomorrow. More of the same. We'll be back for 2 hours of mobile gaming news, videos, and all that kind of business. And as I said at the start, make sure that you head over to pocketgamer.com and check us all out there. A huge thanks to the folks who have sponsored us today. So that's the likes of Mystery Match Village, Chef Blast, and Daisy's Revenge, the keeper of the Ravens of Doom. And obviously Enthusiastic Gaming, whom we are partnered with in all things. And where they've been sharing us on their network. So if we popped up in the corner of certain sites, that is why. Oh no! I looked away from the screen for I'm finishing on a note of doom, Dan. Get the cat back.
He's there.
Save the sheep. Oh no, I'm still running again. It's put me back in.
Cat.
This is brilliant. All right, now we're back in business. So until tomorrow, until next time, we will bid you adieu. Go and find a good game, go and play it, and then come back tomorrow for more mobile gaming recommendations and exclusives. We will see you then. Thank you, Dan, for joining me today.
Thank you for joining us. It's been great. Another great day tomorrow as well.
Absolutely. And everyone out there, thank you so much. We will see you next time.